And now it's time to find out what big stories are making headlines across Nigeria today. And joining us is the publisher of the niche newspapers, Ikechukwu Amaechi. Good morning. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Good morning.
Good to have you.
My pleasure.
Kick off.
How are you?
I'm well. Let's get into the papers. I just chuckled because I remembered how you greeted us when you came in.
Let's kick off this morning on this Nigerian newspapers. And then we'll, of course, get into other ones, including The Punch. This Nigeria this morning says Nigeria will save $7.9 billion annually from sale of crude oil in Naira to indigenous refineries, says the FEC. Dangote refinery and others to get 450,000 barrels projected for domestic consumption. Planned protest, federal government to sell 50 kg of rice at 40,000 Naira at designated centers. And Senate to amend 2024 budget to accommodate 70,000 Naira minimum wage after President's assent. And we can also find here NIN verification, MTN subscribers vandalize Lagos office. INEC set to announce date for by-elections in 6 states. Last story, FCT IRS rakes 126.54 billion Naira in 6 months, closes defaulting businesses. All right, let's move over to the Punch newspapers this morning, so what we can find. Hardship protests. Security agencies begin massive soldiers and police deployment. NPF places operatives on red alert as the NCOS fortifies custodial centers. NSCDC deploys 30,000 personnel. I didn't know they had that many. Labour excited as Tinubu signs 70,000 Naira minimum wage bill. And also President orders Naira crude sale and marketers project price crash. Tinubu means well. Let's give him time to rescue Nigeria, says Tunji Ojo.
Michael Cree might not like that. Time money.
Kaya directs suspension of NAMA's 800% charge hike. And also PSC invites 10,000 new constables for training in August. 32 arrested for attacking federal government inspection team. Abuja politicians fueling banditry, says Benue governor. Final newspapers this morning, we're going to take the Daily Independent newspapers as quickly as we can. Protest starts in Niger as panic gathers momentum nationwide. Don't protest. I'm already meeting your demands, says President Tinubu. Federal government mandates VCs to protect staff and students and infrastructure. Top of your screen, NCC orders reactivation of lines affected by NIN SIM verification issues. We won't allow forces topple Tinubu's government, APC state chairman says. And also, President Tinubu signed 70,000 Naira minimum wage bill into law. Akpabio summons emergency Senate session over protest. And President Tinubu okays a sale of crude oil to Dangote refinery in Naira. Let's just get straight into it. Of course, starting with the protest, the reactions to the protest. I've continued to say that we still haven't heard from the president himself. We've heard from everybody else. But, what are your thoughts on the reaction so far? Those asking that Nigerians be patient. And, of course, those saying that we need to give the president more time. And, of course, the reaction of the police.
I remember when, I think it was Professor Oloshenka, the last time he spoke on the Tinubu presidency, he said he was not going to say anything until 1 year after. I think that was the 100 days anniversary when people were beginning to evaluate how far President Bola Tinubu has come in terms of good governance or otherwise. Now it is 1 year. Nigerians are expecting the likes of Professor Oloshenka to actually say what President Bola Tinubu has been able to do in the last 1 year. Suffice it to say that those who are asking for more time, how much more time?
I keep asking the same question.
Do we need to begin to assess a government that has been there for 14 months? July will end tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that means for a man who took oath of office on May 29, 2023, he has spent 14 months. So, and people are still asking for more time. More time to do what? What will President Bola Ahmed Tinubu do now different from what he has done? You see, the And don't also forget that those who are asking for more time are behaving as if President Tinubu was just plucked out of the distance. The truth of the matter is that these are people. Those who are there now are people who have been in power forever, since 1999. 1999, President Bola Tinubu was governor of Lagos State and served for 8 years. 1999 or thereabout, Nyesom Wike, who is today the Federal Capital Territory Minister, was the local government chairman of Obiakpo. From there, he became a chief of staff to Ikechukwu Amaechi, seconded to Abuja as Minister of State for Education, became substantive Minister of Education, came back to being a governor for 8 years, and now he's a minister. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, became a commissioner, I think almost about the same time in 1999. Went on, became a governor, a two-term governor, went to the Senate, then became a minister, and then he's back as the Senate President. So when people are asking for more time, what is it that these people, did they not know what they wanted to do?
Yeah. All right, hold on. Can you hold on? John, good morning.
John, can you please speak up? We are struggling to hear you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, gentlemen in the house.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. I am speaking right now. Good morning. Yes. We the youth in Nigerians, we cannot be patient with them. We are ready. We are warm up for the protest at all levels of the state. So what they are doing now is just a kind of driving the mind of the youth that we should not protest. Distributing of rice to various designated centers for people to go and buy at 40,000 naira rate does not change anything. It is a plan that's been laid on the ground that we must carry out the protest at every level. So they should expect that tomorrow the strike of the protest will begin in Benue State. And we are so excited that the Constitution back up this protest. So that is my opinion this morning. Thank you for carrying out the breakfast center.
Calling John.
You were talking about the not hearing anything from the president.
Yes.
In an ideal situation, President Bola Tinubu should be addressing Nigerians and trying to assuage the anger that is there, prevalent in the society. Instead, what we are saying, propaganda, lies everywhere. You said rice will not sell
at 40,000 naira a bag.
At 40,000 naira a bag, a 50 kg bag. Whose rice? Whose rice, for crying out loud? Are you going to seize all the rice, all the bags of rice in the market to go and sell at 40,000 naira? Don't forget, this is the same government that told us that they were going to distribute maize and wheat from. Where are these things? All these things are lies, because 2 days down the road, go to any place designated for the sale of these bags of rice at 40,000 naira, you won't see even a single grain to buy. The 20 trucks or whatever they said they were sending to each state, have they finished sharing it?
Not even sure if
the government must be honest with the people. You can't rule by propaganda and lies.
All right.
Yeah. You can win election using propaganda, using lies, using intimidation, but governance is a different ball game.
Yeah.
And this government has not stepped up to the table. Let us be very, very sincere with ourselves. This protest protest is, in fact, if you ask me, I think it is the most veritable mechanism for feedback in a democracy. There's nothing illegal about protest.
All right, kindly hold on. Gabriel from Ogun State, good morning, go ahead.
Good morning. I want to appreciate everyone in the studio. Firstly, let me appreciate the station for giving Nigerians rights to energy. On a serious note, we are not making progress as a nation. 1 year is enough time for a government to make a difference in policy directions where the country is heading to. None of the economic policies is heading anywhere or making sense to an average Nigerian like me. I'm not an economist, I'm an engineer. I want to see effects in the lives of the people, and there are no effects. We don't exercise patience with President Tinubu until all Nigerians are dead. Two things. A pronouncement was made during the inaugural speech. Fuel subsidy is gone. You are not the president. Why the haste? Why don't you study the parameters on ground for just a week before you take such a sensitive decision? This government tried to distance themselves from Buhari government. No. Tinubu told Nigerians that he brought Buhari to power. And he said it is installed in Ogun State. We were all there in Ogun State. I was in Abeokuta that day. He said, Miloko, it is installed. It is him. So he shouldn't stand as if he's not aware of the 8 years Buhari spent in power. Tinubu was involved in Buhari government. He nominated most of those people who championed Buhari economic policies. He nominated them. And he consistently said Buhari is on track. Now they're taking power to distance themselves from the mess that happened in Buhari government. And what we call a mess is even better than what they are doing. Why floating the naira in the parallel market when you are exporting nothing appreciable?
Very much.
We're cracking a year ago.
All right, Mr. Amaechi, go ahead, please.
So the anger is real. The suffering is real. And rather than addressing those issues that are agitating, concentrating the minds of Nigerians, government is gaslighting. Bayo Nanoga will come and tell you Peter Obi did this, Labour Party did this, IPOP did this. If you know those that are planning violent protests, why don't you arrest them? Protest is a right. It's a constitutional right. Nigerians have the fundamental right to associate freedom of expression. And protest, like I said earlier, is about the most fundamental, veritable mechanism for expressing feedback in a democracy.
So this is the result sheet of the current administration 1 year after.
It is. It is. And make no mistake about it. Those who are saying that the economy was already dead and blah, blah, blah before Tinubu came in. Even if we agree that the economy was not in a good shape, Tinubu was brought in to make things better and not to make things worse.
And some of the arguments I've heard in that regard would be that Tinubu has, that regardless of who came into power, even if it was Obi or Atiku, that the outcomes we're experiencing now as a nation are the outcomes we still would have experienced. You know, I had seen a conversation where someone had mentioned that if we look at the Tinubu's administration, in a bid to highlight some of the positives, you know, he mentioned the minimum wage bill, which is something that's on the newspapers this morning. Tinubu signs minimum wage bill. You know, talked about student loan, talked about how you know, a number of other things that they have talked about, and said that the truth is, at the end of the day, a number of these challenges predated Tinubu's coming in, and he cannot turn it all around in 1 year.
That is part of the lies and the propaganda that I was talking about. These guys are specialists in fibs, in telling lies. And you know, Olive, the worst kind of deceit is self-deceit. These guys are deceiving themselves, playing the ostrich, thinking that they are smart. They are not smart. In 2008 or so, when Obama came into office, America was on its knees, fighting wars all over the place. What did Obama do? Obama came in, and within the first 100 days, we knew where the government was headed, the bailouts that was given to the automobile industry that stemmed the bleeding in that industry. And within 100 days, America's economy that was headed south started heading north. Now, what do we have? 1 year after, you inherited a bad economy, but at the time you came in, Naira was exchanging for about 700 Naira to a dollar. Today it is more than 1,500. So what difference have you made? By the time you came in, a bag of rice was about 20 or so thousand Naira. Now it is over 100,000 Naira. What difference have you made? By the time you came in, everything was better than it is today. So what bragging right do you have?
I mean, you know, the argument would always be that, well, you know, things need to get worse, you know, before they get better. We need to take tough decisions and, you know, whatnot, you know. But I think the main reason is, you know, that argument would make sense if Nigerians could see that there was sincerity in the steps being taken by government, that whatever suffering Nigerians are going through now is only temporarily. But what is missing is that actual sincerity with the
accountability.
And accountability with their actions. To tell Nigerians that whatever pain you're going through now is only temporary and it's going to get better. And so the whole idea of, oh, just suffer for a little bit, you know, seems like, you know, it's suffer forever.
You know, those in leadership positions today, unfortunately, are taking Nigerians for granted. Maybe it is because of the way they came to power. Because if you win election, if you were out there and you canvassed for votes and the people actually voted for you, in a democracy, the people are the kings. The government is afraid of the people because they have the right to either give you power or refuse giving you power. So, but we don't have a democracy so-called.
Yeah.
This is literally a dictatorship. And the government can come out and talk down on the people and do all manner. People are saying cut down on the cost of governance. Today we have 49 ministries, for crying out loud. We have 49 ministries. We are buying SUV cars at over 150 million for each member of the National Assembly. You are buying yachts, you are buying you are buying aircraft, and yet the people cannot afford to even eat one square meal. You are not cutting down on the cost of governance, and you're saying you are doing what?
Yeah. All right, quickly, let's quickly talk about the Dangote story. It says here on the Daily Independent, Tinubu okay's sale of crude oil to Dangote refinery in Naira. So let's quickly talk about how significant that is. Dangote says that the government, you know, has, you know, decided to, of course, cut Dangote some slack and, you know, help him. You know, other people arguing that it's Dangote, on the other hand, that is helping the Nigerian government. So, you know, what do you think is playing out here?
This Dangote refinery saga is also one of the most unfortunate things that we have witnessed in this Tinubu dispensation. Oh, okay, when did they realize that it is better that Nigeria is better off selling crude oil to Dangote. This is a man who has a 650 liter
650,000 barrels per day.
650,000 barrels per day. And you have done everything to frustrate him until the man shouted. Now, the 4 refineries you have, none of them is working, despite the millions, if not billions of dollars you have thrown into turnaround maintenance over the years. So why did it take a Dangote coming out to shout, going to US to buy this in? And the same government said, don't forget, Tinubu said he was going to continue from where Buhari stopped. And where Buhari stopped was that shortly before leaving office last year, Buhari came to Lagos, a fanfare, and inaugurated Dangote refinery. You came out this month to say that the refinery was only 45% complete. So what is the truth now? Is the refinery now completed? Which refinery are you giving crude? Is it the one that is 45%? See, look, Osa, no government thrives on lies and propaganda. You may succeed for some time, but definitely all the citizens cannot be idiots. Yeah. And when you take the people for granted, when you take the people as fools, it will get to this head, and the head it has gotten to is that the people are saying enough is enough. The government has the capacity and can indeed change the trajectory by doing what is right, by addressing the problems it created. Yes, it may have inherited some problems, but it has created its own. And the problems it has created in the last 14 months are the problems that are driving everything. The subsidy is gone speech on the inauguration day and the floating of the naira in an economy that is import dependent are the twin reasons that we are where we are today. And then the hiking of electricity tariff
along with it.
All this, okay, you can't tax your way out of the misery we are now, because the people you are taxing are the people who are suffering the pangs of whatever bad economic policies you have chosen.
Yeah.
Right.
So, okay, Olive.
Yeah, I mean, there are just there are too many stories that I wanted us to look at, but as quickly as possible. Do you want to touch on as quickly as possible the signing into law of minimum wage bill, but also to talk about protests starting in Niger as well?
And that's the danger I foresee in what the government is doing. I would think that what the government would have done is to allow this protest to go on, but engage the people, try to assuage the hot feelings. But all these laws trying to stop people from protesting, I don't know whether the protests will go on August 1st or not, because the government has done so much infiltration, despite all the assurances they are giving now, it is the right of Nigerians now to protest. They are also taking very deliberate measures to ensure that the protest does not hold. So, and of course, assembling traditional rulers, religious leaders, getting youth organizations to say they are not part of the decision.
Including Nasari Dokubo.
Money is being spent to do this. The money that should have been spent in tackling the problems that Nigerians are complaining about. So I don't know who is behind this protest. I don't know whether it will still go on. But the danger in trying to suppress this protest is that it might spur a more virulent, much more spontaneous kind of protest, which is the danger I see in the protest that erupted in Niger State yesterday. When such kind of protests go global in terms of all the 36 states of Nigeria and Abuja, it will be a much more bigger problem for the government than this one that is being advertised. Government should do the needful. The president should address the nation.
Yeah, but what does he say? And that for me might be one of the reasons, it's a struggle for him to even address the nation. Because what new thing will the president say? I don't think it is a lack of words. I think it is a complete trust deficit because of the way the government has acted in the last 1 year. Because what new thing is Mr. President going to say to the Nigerian people that he hasn't said in the last 1 year, or his spokespersons haven't said?
Right, I know that.
What is the new thing?
Sincerity of purpose. What he has been doing in the last 1 year is to lie to the people. Can the president for once look Nigerians in the face and tell them the truth? We are sorry, we are in a very bad place, caused mainly by policies which I thought would take us from point A to point B, but it has not paid off as it should.
Yeah.
Is it too much to ask that the president should reverse subsidy removal? Because energy subsidy also is a security issue.
Yeah.
You can't wake up in the morning and remove the subsidy when there is nothing on ground to cushion whatever it is. Okay, you're talking about student loan, talking about minimum wage. For crying out loud, whatever it is you are doing has already been overtaken by the skyrocketing cost of living. So there is, even if you start paying the minimum wage today, how does it solve the problems of the people? Minimum wage of 70,000 naira? And is it going to take care of medical bills? Is it going to take care of school fees?
Can't even buy a bag of rice.
Is it going to take care of accommodation?
All right.
Can't even buy a bag of rice.
I think we've circled on this matter a lot. I want us to move quickly to another story because we want to discuss as many things. Is it Uhuru for Dangote yet? The papers report that on the front page of Daily Independent, that Tinubu okay sales of crude oil to Dangote refinery in Naira.
It will be good. It will be good if the government is sincere about it. But if a government that came out barely a month ago to say that that refinery is only 45% complete, is not telling you that it's going to give him crude oil to be paid for in Naira. We wait to see. You know, Olive, where this government has driven people is a situation where, like Osa said, trust deficit.
Yeah.
Nobody believes what government says. And that is a very bad place anybody, any government can find itself. Because the social contract that exists between the government and the people is based on trust. Yeah. When you don't trust what the government says it is going to do, then there is a problem. If they come through with what they are saying, it will be good.
So let me ask this, all right? So there is the expectation that one of the things that Mr. President is meant to do is, for example, increase our crude oil production. To do that, of course, OPEC quota is, I think, 1.4 million barrels or so. Our budget, projection was meant to be 1.7 million barrels. We're currently maybe 1.2. It is hard to believe that Nigeria suddenly, somehow, some way, just cannot move beyond 1.2 million barrels. The idea or the narrative is that crude is being stolen. So what would your response be to people who say that Mr. President knows that he must improve on crude oil production, but the problem is that there are too many factors mitigating against it. There's too many players. There's militants, there's deals that have been signed, there's the oil companies, there's the bunkery. Too many of them that are just there that it's difficult for you to just put your foot down as the commander-in-chief and say, no more theft, no more oil bunkery. All this crude belongs to Nigeria. We're going to raise our production to 2.5 million barrels. How difficult would that be for Mr. President to do? And carry the same narrative to our immigration and the goods that come into Nigeria illegally. Take the same thing to different aspects of the country. That you would expect that Mr. President will say that this is what needs to be done for us to increase our income, foreign earnings, and make a better Nigeria.
Because they don't care. Because they don't prioritize the welfare and well-being of the people, which incidentally is the primary responsibility of the government. The government is there for the welfare and well-being of the people. And why I remain skeptical about supplying Dangote crude oil and all that, where are they going to get the crude? Nigeria is not meeting up with its OPEC quota, like you said. And they are not meeting up not because Nigeria has no capacity, but because the oil is stolen. Crude oil is stolen. The crude oil theft is a reality. The government knows it. President Tinubu, for crying out loud, is the Minister of Petroleum. Don't forget that. So that if there's anything that is going wrong in that ministry, we hold the president accountable. He is the Minister of Petroleum. He calls the shots. Yeah. So what are they doing? You're talking about militants and all that. These people are small-time players. The vessels that come through the ocean to come and take crude oil are not sponsored by militants. Yeah. Who are these people who are stealing this crude oil? In any case, don't also forget that NNPC has also sold our crude in advance.
To take loans from
to take loans.
Afrexim and the like.
So where are they going to get the crude that they're going to supply to Dangote and others? This is why I am saying, let us see what happens. Nigeria's problems are Hydra-headed, and it is like Chinua Achebe would say, it boils down to leadership. When you have a selfless leader, things will change. As long as we have this transactional kind of leadership, where everybody, what matters to them is what comes to me, and not the public good.
All right.
Nigeria is not going anywhere.
Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi, thank you so much for joining us for the review of the papers this morning.